Alright, just like that, another game. Saffi, Eric's daughter versus Nin the Pain Artist once again. I'm not going first. With a draw like this, strip mines are automatic. Basically just chilling out until we draw into some artifact mana, hopefully, especially off the workshop. And of course there's just a rare chance that you just mana screw your opponent completely. There we go. Simulacrum Workshop. Pretty beautiful. He's leading with land. I'm just going to hang out here. Zenith and a bird. He definitely overcame the quick strip mines very well. He's probably feeling very good about himself right about now. And normally I would be loath to tutor for a mountain, but I have no Nin mana available. And also, depending on what he plays here, possible Merchant Scroll into Fire Ice might be coming. Nevermore. I don't see that card very often, but it is absolutely obnoxious. Perfect draw right there with the Signet. It's completely awesome. Allows me to just go right into Dismiss mana. So even though he's got Nevermore out, we've got a lot of counters and a lot of options, as this deck always has. 5 mana. That looks like a nice negate target, as much as I would like to dismiss it. But I'm not under any pressure to draw anything in particular, so I'm just going to use the more narrow spell, given that he's also probably fairly creature heavy with Saffi. So dismissing and then having him play a nasty creature at 6 mana would make me feel dumb. And normally I would have played Nin here, but I can't. My plan is to eventually probably muddle into Cyclonic Rift once he develops a little bit more, and then pop all this stuff back into his hand. Garrick, that's a dismiss target. Chomp. Mana Vault, really nice. God, I wish I had Nin the Pain Artist in play and I draw Everflowing Chalice. Pretty goddamn beautiful. Let's make a Chalice for 4. Cultivate, well, that's fine. I was a little unhappy about him playing Cultivate. I actually gave some thought to just muddling it, given that he's got 5 mana, but he hasn't missed a land drop yet, and he only had those 2. And I don't know, I mean, who knows what the rest of his deck is. And if I had muddled, I would have had this thing fall. Well, actually, no. Let's see. Cultivate. How much land did he start the turn with? He had 4, so he'd have cultivated. Yeah, I don't know. If he had another land in his hand, he would have been able to play this, and I wouldn't have been able to stop it, and that would have sucked. So I was actually very glad that I crumpled it. Or that I let the cultivate through. Just going to untap the vault, since we don't have anything else going on. Bash. Gave some thought here to Merchant Scrolling for Forbid, but I realized that I'm going to need one or both of these cards in order to surmount the Nevermore. So we're just going to transmute and go get Mr. Rift. Sun Titan. Kind of cool. I am so glad that I spell crumpled that stupid 2/2 elf that would have munched my 4 mana Chalice. Because right now, as nasty as this guy is, all he can do is get back some land. So we don't really care too much, honestly. We've got a lot of mana available. Fabricate was a really nice pull. So, Deer Watcher. Many targets to choose from. Like almost 20 artifacts. What do you take in this circumstance? There's my opponent's board. There's mine. Keep in mind I have currently only 3 islands in play, so Shackles doesn't really do a whole lot, especially not without Nin the Pain Artist to back it up. Metamorph doesn't seem terrible, because Metamorph copies his 6/6 and gets me Strip Mine and Wasteland back right away, and I have enough mana available to just Rift his guy and Merchant Scroll for a mana drain to hold off him attempting to recast it and possibly put him into a Strip Mine lock. But he does already have a ton of land in play, so after I think about that for a long time, I realized that I don't really want to actually do that. I'm going to just go for broke here and take the Gilded Lotus. because what goes with mana besides more mana? I'm going to Merchant Scroll right now for mana drain to protect my position. So yeah, my plan here is at the end of his turn, just about no matter what he does. So he plays a top, which I don't care about, puts a land out, smashes, casts Saffi. End of turn, he's getting rifted. Nevermore. It's Nevermore. I'm going to untap the Vault, of course. And I rip a counter spell. That same spell crumple again, actually. Could not have been better timed. I'm not going to attack with Simulacrum because I really, really need it to shoot. Normally I would probably just send it in for 2, but the thing is, he if he has a Condemn, then I don't have a second target for Nin. I have to have Nin shoot herself, and that makes the Nevermore much more relevant, so I decided not to attack. And he casts Nevermore, and I don't care, because provided that he doesn't have an ability to disrupt this, I'm going to draw 10 plus cards, and I can certainly just play another creature and shoot that, or get a Theft card. So I'm not really worried. He plays Saffi, which I could care less about. Alright, revving up the gun. Go. Not sure why he did that. He draws a card and scries. I don't imagine he put the he put the card on top. So he used the top to get a temple. I guess maybe just to not miss a land drop. Animating and bashing, I could care less because I need a target. And here we go. He just ends his turn. I'm leaving mana up to spell crumple again, or possibly drain and pierce, depending on what happens. And that's 11. Boom. And if this resolves, as you all know, it is likely over. Sure enough, dead Simulacrum. Big hand. Drew into Force of Will, Preordain, Cryptic Command, which is also another solution in Nevermore. Just going to untap that. Probably wouldn't have done it if I didn't have Reliquary Tower, because I might need to play more stuff, and losing a mana would make no sense. But I don't even care about the other things in my hand. I can just play all these artifacts. Go get a Mox Diamond just to deploy more mana. Copy, get another guy, and get a top this time. My opponent says, "Wow, you've really invested a ton of money in that deck. I hope you win." And I said, "Me too." I guess it's a fair criticism if you're one of those people that feels like there needs to be equity in deck price. I mean, certainly my deck's more expensive than his, but as far as EDH, good EDH decks go, Nin the Pain Artist is probably the best ratio of effectiveness to cost. I mean, it's one of the biggest costs of these decks is the dual lands, and this deck runs only Volcanic Island. For the old school dual lands, it has Mana Drain, Force of Will. I guess Mox Diamond is worth a fair amount now, not sure. Jace the Mind Sculptor, Wasteland. I don't know. It's really just not that expensive of a deck, actually, all things considered. I don't know what Cryptic Command is worth. Or it says because it's, if you don't, that's really sad. So at that point I need to say something. I said yes, because all you need to do in Magic is spend lots of money. Deck design and playing are irrelevant. So I talked to him about it, and he says, "That's the only sadness." Oh, no, I said, and he frowns, and he says, "No, they are relevant, but less relevant than money spent." And I said, as far as EDH decks go, this one is actually not expensive at all. And he says, "That's the only sadness I have about Magic. Money wins. It only has a few expensive cards in it." And I listed a few, and he says, "Wasteland, Strip Mine, Mox Diamond, those 3 cards cost more than my entire deck. Oh yeah, Mana Drain and Force of Will too." I said, "I've been playing Magic Online for over 10 years. Most of the cards I own I bought for quite cheap," which is true. When they were first introduced online, like I got my Force of Will for 15 tickets or something back way, way, way a long time ago. He says, with those, it's about 3 times as much for those 5 cards. And I tell him that EDH isn't a pauper format. He says, "No worries, just sour grapes for me, not have," which I totally understand. I mean, basically, I think it would be really frustrating. I've always come from a perspective of being really much a have in Magic, and I think it would be tough to play an Eternal format like this, where clearly there are a lot of powerful, expensive cards, and if you are on a low budget, you don't get access to them, which is why you have to play green-white instead of blue. But fundamentally, Magic's a pay-to-win game, and it always has been, so that's just the reality of it. It is not egalitarian, at least not constructed. Restock. I'm just going to remand that. Screw around with his mana. And he says, bah, wasting my time. And I wouldn't say it's wasting your time, but at this point the game is certainly over when I've got 2 Nin targets in play and a bajillion mana, bajillion counters. So that's it. Writing on the wall. I don't know, I guess this game wasn't really all that close, other than the fact that he had Nevermore out for a bit, which is kind of annoying. But yeah, pretty cool demonstration of some of the tools. More games to come.